Yeah, so shake off.
No, he's so fine. Did you get him?
There, Mike, I got that one.
You got it,
There's
Tony?
one that doesn't need to be hugged, you can't.
He's good at it. Get this one off.
Everybody ready? I call the meeting to order at 6:30. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we continue on with our meeting, I just wanted to express my condolence to Leo Alvin for the passing of his wife, Lorraine, yesterday. We're all thinking of him. We did not have any correspondence. So we're on to having
Well, we had a couple snow events in April, one of which required us to go out and treat the roads, and being that I had most of them all swept, I didn't want to go out there in sand. So we went out with a little bit of salt, about 2.5 tons, and we treated all of the paved sections of the road with that. We finished sweeping for the spring, and all the equipment has been serviced for the summer work. We've got all the fluids changed, and everything ready to go, and we'll be getting it fixed soon. Seasonal roads have all been great. We're working on some drainage issues on them. We've got a few places where we need to take some more pressure on, fill in some bad spots, which we'll be getting that by the first part of next week. We're also going to get back into our ditching program next week, and I have a whole bunch of quotes that I would like to go over with you folks to kind of line things up for what we're going to do next. In the package of stuff that I gave you in the report, there's quotes from Supco, there's quotes from Gorman, and the last page is kind of something like together to summarize what we're doing. What I'm looking at is we'll start with the Sealy Road. The quote from Supco covers the whole road from 29A to Seco Road. And what they'll be doing is in the bad sections, it'll be the cold paving process, the shim road where it's needed, and then it'll be a double chip seal for the entire length of the road. On Gorman's proposal for the Sealy Road, it'll basically go from near the Daily Road. It'll be a little bit this side of the Daily Road to the Seco Road. That's the rough section. And that would be full depth recycling of the existing pavement. We put pressure on down, grind everything up, add calcium to it to make a base, and then chip seal over top of that. And for their work, it would pretty much be that it's right around 2 miles. It's 10,000 feet, so it's just short of 2 miles. So it'd be from right near the Daily Road to the Seco Road, would not do the whole road. The Powerhouse Road, both companies is the same project. It's a double chip seal for the length of that, it's paved. And, I only have a quote for shoot for that little stretch of the Seco Road, so up there, just this side of, Red House Road. And that would be a chip seal over top of that. And what it comes down to basically is, as far as the chip sealing goes, it works out to just about the same money for both companies. If you figure it by the square yard, Sioux Coast price is, $2.60 roughly a square yard. $2.61 is a rounded thing on the other. Norman is $2.64 a square yard. Where the difference comes is whether we're gonna do the shimming with the paper or we're gonna reclaim the road. And the stuff that we're shimming, it's gonna cost you like $3.54 a square yard, where the reclaiming will, run you like $4.94 a square yard. So it's, basically comes down to which direction you both would like to go. Whether you want to, basically rebuild the section of road, or you want to shim the whole road. Is pretty much the difference in the two poles. Like I say, the chip sealing part is pretty much the same for either company, within a couple cents of one another. So that's where that, that stands on those. Questions from you? You would like to?
I was just wondering what your recommendation is. You're giving us two quotes, but you haven't said which one you prefer. What do you think would work best for you?
Well, it's kind of a toss up, really. It's, if we did the reclaiming and did half of the road, I think you wind up with a better project in the long term. If we shim it, we can make the whole road nice for,
How long would shimming last?
pardon?
How long would shimming last for?
It's
The difference in time of how long it'll.
you'll have a really nice road for a few years, and then it'll start going back to what it was. I believe longer term, if we do the reclaiming, it will last longer. It'll be a better product in the end. It's just we won't be doing as much of it. But that's my thought.
I have a question, a couple questions.
Yeah.
So, is there a road that's been done with the reclaiming in town?
Not right now.
Okay, so they've all just been shimmed.
Shimming.
Yes.
And so approximately how long would the shimming last then? Is it?
I would think with what we're doing, because basically what we're making here is a better base for the road than what it's on right now. And that's the reason that it's all heaved like it is, because it has no base. And by adding the crusher onto it and grinding it up and putting the calcium with it, it helps solidify the whole thing. So you'll have a better road bed to start with.
Right.
And then putting a surface treatment over it to seal it. I think you'll have a better product in the long term, and it's just you'll have a shorter project.
Okay. So then the other question is our ship, do we have any constraints that it has to be a 10-year project? Let's say we did from Daily Road up to the Seco Road, we wanted to go back over and say a portion of up to Daily Road and then the front of Daily, would we
because it's a different section of the road.
So we had to go over another portion.
You could hook on to where we're gonna leave off and come to 29.
Okay. So would we qualify then if we just did sorry, I'm not familiar with all of this, but if we did the shimming, would that qualify in 10 years, that it would last that 10 years?
Well,
or?
it's gonna have to last. You
Yeah,
can't use the CHIPS money again.
Right.
How long it will last, I mean, you'll have 8 to 10 years decent. How long it's gonna be great, I can't tell.
Right. So the investment is starting again, basically with road, and then we know that in 10 years, we most likely wouldn't have to touch it, or with shimming, we might have to touch it in 10 years, and then we couldn't do it because we already used our 10 years.
That's
So,
pretty much it, yeah.
and that's where we've been in the town, so there hasn't been anything redone in the town.
Not
Here
to
now.
my knowledge here in the town, in my previous life, we dealt with that. And, it does make it better road.
So that's something new for us.
Right.
Yeah,
We have never done that.
yeah.
Right.
So if you think it's a better way to go, I would say go that way.
I think you'll be happier 10 years from now
Right.
by doing that than you would.
And it doesn't look like there's that big of a price difference.
It's not.
So we might as well go with the one
You're looking at what, $1, $1.10, $2.
So is it more or less than you?
The whole thing comes out to, because, Vermon's total price is less than Suco's price, because they're only doing half of the road, the Suco price is for the entire road. But the price per square yard is more expensive to reclaim it than it is to ship by, you're looking at $3.54 to $4.94, so it's $1.40 more to reclaim the section than it would be. And basically in the Suco quote for, shimming was, 7,650 square yards, so it's a little bit smaller area than what, Gorman is going to reclaim, but it's the same section of road that they would be shimming against what we're going to do the reclaiming, if we go that way.
So in the 284 agreement, you're asking for an amount that doesn't exceed $150,000 for that project.
Correct.
So we could approve either project, and as long as it doesn't go over 150, honestly, I think that's a great price.
Yes.
To get that length of road done and
To
have a decade of.
reclaim and double chip seal that section would be $104,273.
Okay, so I'm going to go over the 284 agreement before we move on, just do just a light vote real quick. Everybody in agreement to approve the project with the reclaiming instead of shipping? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, on to B, the small 0.27 miles of Pico and Dugway Road is the next one on your list. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna go down the list, each one that we're gonna just go over each one and
I
take a
don't
look.
have that one from me, but what that is it's, the section of the road that's, well, it's right by all this.
Yeah.
It's all rough and gravel. It would be, chip sealing over that to, smooth it out. And that came to a price, $7,705.
I've had enough complaints about that road, I would be thrilled to see it done. I know many people who have been waiting for that. I think that is a good one to approve as well, the board agrees.
Yeah.
These two are chips related, and I'm sorry, the third one, C, Powerhouse, and 119 will move on to our chips related. The next page is for the board knowledge is FEMA related. So could you go?
The powerhouse, that would be a double chip seal from 119 to where the pavement ends. And, that had a price of, I believe it's $29,889.27.
Oh, it says on your thing, it's for, not to go over the sum of 19,000.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's just now.
I must have missed. It should be two, not one.
Okay, so we're changing that to 29,000? Are you sure you don't want to move it up to 30,000?
Yes, on these quotes that we have from each
Okay.
company,
Yeah.
on Gorman's, they give you the price of what they're gonna charge us for doing the job and the emulsion that they use, but the, stone price is not in there. So I had to put the stone, that's why.
And that's the 5,000
That,
I saw?
yes,
on the sheet?
that's what
Okay.
the stone prices that I have on here are for. The stone is bought, it needs to come from Hanson because it needs to be washed, and it needs to meet, the DOT specs. And, that is the price off the Fulton County material bid for, this year. Is what we would pay, and that is picked up in St. John's, so that's not good.
Okay, so the emulsion, and it says the stone is 587.42. Right? So we're adding all these together, am I doing this correctly?
Yes, if, for the Powerhouse Road, you had, $2,700 for number one, $2,400 for monies, and their price, comes to $29,889.
Okay.
And
29,8, what?
the,
89.
the grand total to do those would be,
For these three projects, it's 135,000 motion provided.
I believe that's the number, yes.
Was there any questions?
Sounds good, Larry, boy, you did your homework.
Nice little chart.
Well, that's what happened, give me an office with internet.
But it's working out. Okay, we will move on to the case with FEMA, and I talked to Larry before the meeting on this. There's a few in here that just don't have, I mean, he can give a roundabout quote on here, but we don't have any real specifics. And the Voorhees Road, as you know, is a lingering huge cost. So with the CHIPS money, I believe that the first page of projects that we all just went through, I think that's safe to approve all of them. Because as Larry gave us, our CHIPS amount at the moment is $198,000. FEMA, on the other hand, some of these, he's still waiting on quotes, correct?
Correct.
Why don't you go through and explain?
All right, the Speedy Grove culvert, I believe that's the first one, is that correct?
Correct.
I just got a quote from, R&D Construction, we were up there and looked at it. I know I mentioned to the board, when we had, Andy Bell do his engineering study of what we're going to do to replace that culvert, and we were in the $200,000 range. Randy and I got together and, looked what we come up with for the fix will be to jack up the deck and the stringers and shim each one to the proper height. The, northern end of the culvert is pretty much where it belongs. The southern end of the culvert, the upstream side didn't drop much. The downstream side is the one that fell the most. So will they be jacking each one of them beams up to the proper level to meet the road, shimming each side, and straighten out the guide rail. The price on that would be $16,000. Once the water goes down to the summer levels, where you don't have to, do as much to sandbag it, de-water the area, we would address the scour that's under, both of the abutments. They would, grout under the abutments, just like we did on the Seco Road Bridge. Put some heavy stone fill around each wing wall to armor that bank, and, that would run, roughly $18,000. So what we're looking at is a total price of about $34,000 to fix that structure, which is actually less than what our cost would be if we went to replace it. So, and we would get our 75% FEMA reimbursement on that, so, cost of the town would be minimal. The other three culverts, the Red House culvert, we just need to do some, armoring of the bank. The Dugway Road, the Kelly Road, the Seco Road culverts, culverts are all, the bottoms are rotted on all. So,
You're waiting on the safe cost, you said?
pardon me?
You're waiting on the safe cost, you said?
Yes. And, I believe that's all of them there. And Voorhees Road, I'm still waiting for surveyors and engineers, all of that. I did have a conversation with, the natural resource people, and told them that we were planning on moving the road away from the bank, so that, because they're coming up on the deadline, all of these projects are coming up on the deadline, we'll have to file extensions for, which, it's not a problem to file the extension, it's just something that I've gotta do, because we're gonna go beyond the time, it's June, so, I don't know the exact date, June, but sometime June of this year, when our permit work is supposed to be done. So we're gonna go beyond that.
Larry, I just gotta clarify, all these culverts are 15,000, not 75,000, right?
Well, it depends on the price, the pipe is gonna be very expensive, you're probably looking at $40,000 to $50,000 for the pipe itself.
So each culvert is 75,000 is your expense, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, when I spoke to Larry about before the meeting, I thought, people before, thought about approving, of course, the first phase of all the projects that we went through. With the chips for $135,000. And the Edict Road one that he just discussed, that he put 75,000, but it dropped to about 34,000. Why don't we approve those projects right now? Because the Dugway, the Seco, and the Kelly Road culverts we're still waiting on, pipe prices. And the Voorhees Road, we still need to get the engineer.
Right.
Why don't we take those projects off and get those other ones approved immediately? And then when we have more concrete information, he can come back and, because this is a moving document, we can update it at any time and approve. That's something the board's willing to consider?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get going from there, yeah.
Okay. So why don't we do, a resolution to accept the, 284 agreement from the highway superintendent to include to over $150,000. The Seco and Dugway Road, the 0.27 miles, not to exceed 10,000. I just want to make sure Larry's keeping up over there. Tara House and 119 and leading to the end of pavement, not to exceed, I'm gonna put 30,000, because you're just shy of 30. And then includes the Edict Road and leading to Stony Brook. Now, it says not to exceed 75,000, but you just told us 34. Do you want to update that price for me?
Let's put it at 40,000.
Perfect, okay. Let's get it more accurate. And then the other projects, we will defer until proper prices come in, right? So I will make that motion to do the resolution as I stated. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Is there anything else you would like to say? Oh, no. See, I thought we were friends.
Well, I've been searching for a thumb to add on our excavator.
Yeah.
And I have two quotes here. I have one from Montana, which is where we bought the bus excavator. And both of these are for the thumb. We do the work of installing it.
Okay. What's the company I'm sorry?
Any other,
What was the company name?
Montana company.
Okay.
That's the outfit that we bought it from, and then this is just the thumb. We do the installation, and there'll be some other, hydraulic lines and things like that that we'll have to buy. Admar is the other quote that I have, and it's the same, it's just the thumb, we have to do the work. Montana has a price of $5,545. Admar has a price of $7,075.
And you're looking for the board to approve the purchase from Montana? Is that-
Yes.
Okay. I believe that's all of our procurement policy. Right. So, that's what I made you work with.
You did.
Extra hard. Good job there. I'll make a motion to accept the Montano, I'm gonna say it wrong, Montano, quote for the $5,545 for the thumb, and the highway superintendent is requesting the lowest bid. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything else?
Well, one last little thing, I don't wanna shock you all. Come back with this, I've been searching around, looking for, both a small roller and a hot box. Hot box mainly, two big uses for it. Right now, I've been trying to get out to do some patching. It was pretty cold here this morning. The cold patch that we have is hard. And if, we had one of the boxes, we could be out patching this thing here without a problem. The other thing is, anytime we bring hot material to town, we either have to put it on one of the large trucks that, small amounts will get cold before we can use it. The small truck is too small at all, an amount that would be, efficient. So I've started looking for, used machines, hot boxes that would carry that. And, it looks like we're gonna spend somewhere between $18,000 and $20,000 to buy these. New machines are slightly over 30,000, they're in the $35,000. So that's where those will come in when, we find one. The other thing I'm looking for is a roller, small roller that's similar to the one we rented last season, to do patching with, these jobs that are rolling the wheels of the dump truck. And I just hopefully I can find one for somewhere in the $10,000 range. New on those is about 23,000. So it's half the price of them. And I don't believe we need a brand new machine for the use that we would put on it. And the machines that I'm looking at are, mostly rentals that these companies have out, and they don't have an awful lot of hours on them, they just keep turning them over. So, hopefully, towards the end of this season, I'll find one that's in the price that I want to spend. I just want you to be aware that, what do you want to do?
Researching. Just get my smelling salts out.
Yeah, I want to pay for that.
Oh, very good.
And,
Yeah, good job.
what else, oh, a little,
Most, I think I heard Larry talking, he
the,
was like, that is great.
the, Hawes Road Bridge, is, they've got it classified as eligible to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So, I'm still trying to get a definite answer to what that means, whether we start fixing the thing, or whether it's falling in the creek, or what's going to happen with it. So that's still pending. The, Windfall Creek culvert that, we talked about abandoning, we will have an alternate project on that. The, pre-disaster cost for that, return pre-disaster cost for that culvert was at, $78,000. There is I believe it's a 10% reduction for doing the alternate project. So they knock a little bit off the top of that. And I have asked the question of whether we would get the 12.5% from New York State, as part of that, and I don't have that answer yet. But that's our two outstanding FEMA issues. The other, FEMA projects, the bridge is in, I believe it's their final review. The, two road sections are working their way through the process. They have 13 people at the review. So, they're proceeding.
And the total, I just did the quick math while you were talking, the total between the road after the Pico Bridge and the bridge itself is about $146,000.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the money we're waiting on right now. And that's also what I was gonna, mention was that I got the email made out of saying that New York State will cover half of our 25%. So these projects, with the exception of the alternate projects you're waiting on, is all of these FEMA projects is only costing the town 12.5% of the total value. So I think we looked at that. Yeah, we did. Oh,
Good job.
you're up there.
This month, I had 2 meetings, issued a trade permit, swimming pool, around the road. The 3 inspections, the one dog call. Karen had, issued some tickets and she was afraid of that, so she asked me to go on with it. Everything went smooth.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I believe you've done it before.
Oh, there's no, I told her come anytime, any.
Good, good.
No problem.
Any questions?
North mileage, what happened with that?
Norm, I just want to remind you, I was gonna bring it up to him after the meeting. You submitted your voucher and had last month's mileage, which we had your report from last month, but you didn't give me the mileage for this month. You didn't give me your justification for the mileage reimbursement, so I have to take this month out. You have to give me this with your voucher. You understand?
Yeah, I separated, one was previous,
But I didn't have this printout, is what I'm saying, this totals your mileage.
Oh,
Yeah, I need that with it. Okay? We'll discuss it after the meeting. I just saying it right now because you asked.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss that. Okay, on to the assessor's report. He was in the office on the 2nd of April, mostly in field picking up new construction. He spent nearly an hour trying to read some of the permits. We gotta work on that more. Discuss it later. On and off throughout the month, and on the 24th, he was back in the office. He completed new construction inventory and valuation. He entered address change requests and responded to taxpayer requests for assessment review. And on the 30th, he published the tentative assessment roll, he signed oath and made a copy of the roll to the town clerk and mailed out all changes assessment notices. Here.
Updated the maps, to reflect that the, owner's rights and access to the property. So that's done, hanging on those. Ordered 20 gallons back to back and received that. We're just continuing to monitor and treat as necessary. Finding a lot of larvae creeks, a lot of different size larvae. Oh, you know, the big ones, small ones, all together.
Kind of different this year than any other year.
Well, I'm seeing more this year, actually, more concentration though. But if you remember, last year was a bad drought year. Remember it was, I forget, it was so cold or something.
Yeah.
It
Dried up, there wasn't any water flow.
wasn't any water, that's what it was, so, yeah.
Right now, they're 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, they're really, they are really, we were able to get out early this year too. I think we got some in March, got out some towards the end of March, we were able to get out. So, but we're coming along, we'll just continue to monitor and treat. We're hitting, I think we hit just about every creek, everybody's hit all their creeks on the list, I believe. So we'll just keep going.
Karen?
I spent quite a few days trying to find a white skinny dog that was on the bridge on Pacifico Road, just before the first campsite, and was also seen on the first campsite. I went there twice a day, and I saw the white hair around where I put food, you know, you get stuff on the picnic table, and it was also at the brown house that was just up on the right-hand side. The white hair was stuck in the weeds where it was going into the building. I never found the dog. It did eat some of the food, but that was it. By the third day, it stopped. Everything was wrong. I issued several tickets, went to court, and I'll be going to court again next week. I have 2 permits issued, 1 inspection done, another pending, and, I'm almost done with licensing, and then we'll finish that permit. So that'll be a total of 3 permits. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish that last
The
one.
kennel permits you're speaking about.
Yes. I received a call for a lost dog, but he was stuck under a piece of equipment at the guy's, his house. And he finally found it. I also received a call about a beagle. I picked it up, and the caretaker came and returned it to its owner because it wasn't under his house. The rest of the time, I was on call. That's it.
Any questions, Karen? Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Board received the April 2021 Justice Report. Maura, I see you in the back. Would you like to report anything?
Yeah, I had to request a fund for information when I was doing the planning, one on the church, Stratford Church. So even though it's not part of Stratford, I took it from the perspective of the people that supported the church from Stratford, so I think it's a lot of information.
Very
worded it under deputy clerk is on tender resignation. So I'm shopping around for another one. Someone knows anyone who might be interested. It's a very part-time job, that's part of the problem. It's a very part-time job. So, if any suggestions, interesting, just let me know. Come by and visit.
Thank you, Larry. Okay. I'm gonna read a notice from the assessment department. It's been put out on the Facebook page, and we also put it up on the Stratford website, and I figured I would also do that in the meeting. The assessor will be updating property inventory within the town of Stratford beginning in June of 2021. The purpose of these site visits is to verify the accuracy of the assessment information on file. Many properties can be viewed from the highway. On-site inspections may be necessary if the home is not visible from the road. This is an opportunity for property owners to bring the assessor's attention to any discrepancies. Please contact the assessment office if you have any questions or concerns. Dave J. Galerno, assessor. If you would like his contact information, it's posted on the stratfordny.com website, or you can contact the town clerk if you do have any questions. Okay. We held interviews for the new building cleaner, and 4 out of 5 of us were able to make it. We had 2 people apply, Nikki Harper and Karen Jakeway. So this is my suggestion. So if we don't get caught in a situation where we no longer have a cleaner, I thought maybe we could appoint Nikki Harper as the new building cleaner, who's the regular cleaner, set by, the minimum wage, and we could appoint Karen Jakeway as the deputy building cleaner for the times when Nikki can't make it, if there are any of those times. And then if something happens, we still have a cleaner on hand. It wouldn't cost the town any money to, Karen's already on the payroll, and it's just a quick resolution to just give her the authorization to come in and clean if we need her to.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion to accept the resolution to appoint Nikki Harper as the building cleaner and,
Okay.
and Karen Jakeway as the deputy cleaner.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We discussed last month of the union contract negotiations, and I have some settings. We had 2 different quotes, one from our current lawyer, Michael Albany, and another from Butch Ventura from Strategic Labor Services. He was our previous contract negotiator. Unfortunately, shortly after the meeting, I received an email stating that due to a large increase in business he will not be taking on any new business. So now we're back down to just Michael Albany, who's quote $3,000 flat rate for contract negotiations and a rate of $150 an hour for any mediation services that might come to, which I'm told that's pretty rare that happens, correct?
Yes.
And you're still willing to do it then?
Yes.
Okay. Does the board like to ask Mike any questions? Or is there anything you'd like to? We also need representatives, Lorraine, you did it last time. Are you willing to do it again? No. Well, Tiffany can.
I will.
So we will be the town representative. If the board's agreeable to appoint Mike Albany for our contract negotiations, and I'd like to do that, and we can get this rolling, so we're not late like we were a couple years ago. Does that sound good? You can vote on this, but you can't do anything back. I know you're being really quiet. This is the biggest vote you can have in this.
Good, so I'm gonna offer that Michael Albany is the contract negotiator, or no, she got, along with Joni and Heather, so.
For the $3,000 flat rate and then $150 per mediation. Are there any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Sure, I'm sorry.
Do we get, now that $3,000, is that just for Mike, or we split it 3 ways?
I think it's 3 ways. Okay.
I'm on.
I'm today and then.
She said nay.
Okay. Did you get that, Larry?
Hey, yeah.
Just some good news I wanted to share was that in the 2022 capital plan for Fulton County, we had a portion of 119 set to be paid, and because of the money that had been withheld is now being given back to townships and counties for highway improvements. The county superintendent was approved to put it back into this year's work, so a portion of 119 will be into this year's paving plan, so be prepared for construction. There's a patch out there that wasn't able to be done, and I did discuss with him after now, it goes to the bridge. I think that's the portion everybody could get. And he goes, where's that again? I'm like, oh, you gotta go, you gotta try to Stratford more often. So he said he's gonna try to get that portion, he's gonna come out, take a look, see if he can get that portion, and then have all of 119 entirely done maybe by 2023, which that would be great. We also got a settlement with Nightmare on the gazebo collapse. We got the full amount of $10,000, which is great. I'm gonna discuss that a little further. I just wanted the board to know that that's been taken care of. Okay. One of the questions I had for the board was, we had a gentleman in the community reach out and say he'd like to take it down for free. He wants to take it down, remove the gazebo, and I contacted Nightmare to see if this is something they'd allow us to do, you know, liability reasons. And from what the lady told me, she said she didn't see it was an issue as long as you find a full harmless cost or agreement. So I'm gonna give Mike our current full harmless agreement, make sure to look over and see if there's any improvements that might be made. But before I even go any further on this, is this something the board would like to do? Just let somebody from the community take the glass gazebo, or is there a specific way you want to dispose of it, is what I'm asking?
So it's gonna be no cost to us.
No cost to us.
Right, and he'll
He
sign a
gets
waiver.
And he'll
Have
sign
a
that whole
have
time.
it like we're not
Giving money for anything, no, like.
Nope.
Do whatever.
I figured that was a nice cheap way of getting it removed, and, we don't have to pay anybody.
Okay, as long as.
And as we all know right now, what's on that gazebo is wood and coke. You know, wood prices are through the roof. So, you know, that's all pressure treated wood, so I'm sure this person either wants to rebuild it and more power to them. I'm trying to get in touch with him because he asked about a month ago, so I did leave a message with him before the meeting. I was hoping to hear back from him. But as long as Nightmare approves it and our full harmless agreement is updated, the board's okay with that. Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to allow Rod Daly to remove the glass gazebo from the town hall as long as Nightmare approves it. He signs a whole harmless agreement with the town before.
Yeah.
Okay. No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. So I also wanted to include it, it's not on the official agenda, I apologize, but I just wanted the public to be notified that this is, everybody knows GABAC as part of our ambulance. They have come out to our area. The name has changed, and I just wanted people to know. It's now called, the Lake Valley EMS. Nothing changes with the actual running of the ambulance. It's just a name change, and they said that Fulton County has 44 lakes, and Montgomery County is a valley. So, Lake Valley, EMS. So if you see a different ambulance service running through the area, know that it was GABAC, it's just a little bit of a rebranding, but it's all gonna run the same. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Santa Maria from the, emergency management department at Fulton County would be happy to answer any. I also wanted to talk to the board about, Actually, I'll leave this for later. Okay, moving on to the financial report. The board received the bank statements and the monthly budget update report. We also received our first quarter sales tax for 2021, $74,699.60. So we still received quite a good amount. In comparison, I'm sorry, I'm moving this match over here. That's an increase of $6,330 from this time in 2020, so, you know, we're doing pretty good with that.
If you wanna,
Just one moment, we'll open up the CC. Any financial report questions? I'm fifteen of the bill, and I have a motion to pay the May 2021 bill. Second? Are there any questions on the vouchers from our check? Besides the one that was already made. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, I open up public speaking at 6:21, or 7:21. Now, I just ask that people walk up to the podium one at a time, and when you speak, your mask off when you're out there on the stage. No limit your speaking 5 minutes, the board can choose to respond if they'd like to, they don't have to, just a general reminder. It's open. Go ahead, Roger, you can step up, yep.
I just wanted to see about taking the table down.
Eric, I was just talking about it.
Yeah.
What we did is we made a motion, to allow you to come in and take it down, as long as 9 years of proof which is a liability issue, and you'll have to sign what's called the whole harmless agreement. Means if you get hurt doing this, that the town is not liable. But the board did approve that. So as long as you get the other stuff situated, I'll get in contact with you. I kept your number right on my phone. I made sure the minute I had more information. Now that the claim closed out, then I can give you a call and say, now we can find a way to remove it. So as soon as I get all those answers, the board's already approved it, and I'll give you a call and tell you when.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll have a good night.
You too.
I just wanted to say that, I like the Facebook, approach that you're having with Karen about, putting the dogs on Facebook that are missing and everything, because with just a couple of clicks and shares, you know, she can really, you know, find dogs, find cats, you know, so that's Facebook is, the Facebook page is, you know, very good at, you know.
If I see it, I try to post it immediately.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. The other thing is, the gazebo, once they take it down, what's gonna happen? So,
I'm gonna move on to that a little bit later,
okay,
under new business.
okay, so it's my opinion, I really don't know what happens with the gazebo, how often people use it. So, and the wood is so expensive right now, and to build another one, you know, depending, I mean, if people use it a lot, you know, it's worth it, but if not, I mean, I think instead of putting something there, they need to use the money towards something that the town really needs. So that's my opinion on that. And,
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia.
I know you brought this up at the beginning of the meeting there about the passing of Leo's wife, but I've been in this town, I was Irish for 3 years, and on the wall here, you have Leo, George Rogers, Harry Crop, who built this place, and not just for them, but I would like to see in recognition of what they've done this mean, not the legal, this and that, there's other personnel and board members and this and that are up in their age and their health is deteriorating, God forbid, but I would like to see if maybe the board would consider putting the flag at hashtag for a moment of our appreciation to them and to others in the meeting, you know, others in the future that have dedicated to the town of Stratford and this and that. Put the flag at hashtag. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I do, but I maybe Mr. Elton can direct it a little bit better. I don't know exactly what we can do for the flag, but I think in the same sense, maybe we could, maybe plant a tree or do something in the park in memoriam, to a flag as compared to, I'm not sure what flag etiquette is.
Yeah, flag etiquette.
Or how that works. If we, I don't know, maybe we can just do it, but if we just drop our flag, people may think something happened nationally and then Salisbury isn't lowered. I don't know how that works, but.
But there are a lot of folks that do say, like George Rogers, I mean, I can't remember all of them. There's a bunch more of them that put their hard-earned time into this. I mean, if you go back in the records, you can find that, you know, and they did it for nothing. They didn't get paid. So I think that's what he's kind of getting at too, you know. And they're all getting up there in age, it's true.
So what's the proper way, I guess?
I don't know what the proper way is, but, you know, just out of respect for them, you know, even Anita's done a lot of work for this, area in the building space too, you know. So we should keep that all in our minds, but I don't know how.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or like, Tiffany suggested, you know, maybe if we do, plant a tree or come up with some kind of idea, maybe just kind of generalize it though too, for all of the, those, you know, because if you start putting the name on the thing, if you miss somebody,
And then they're gonna complain.
then, you know, you feel terrible that you missed a family that donated their time and effort. So maybe if we just kind of put it in general, you know,
For the, all the past, present, and
yeah,
future.
just put our heart and soul into the community itself.
I think that's a great idea, something, you know, maybe, between now and the next meeting, the board
We'll
members
come up
can,
with a plan.
yeah, come up with certain ideas and maybe we can bring it forth and,
Okay.
I think. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is more or less a code thing for the town of Stratford, because there is not a code for residential fencing. And I've been told that because the community doesn't have it, the New York State code for residential fencing should be engaged. My neighbor was with Paul. I believe what he did was spike fence. Because I got the back side of the fence towards me, and he's right on the line. I've heard stories that he went to North City, just wanted to put a fence up, keep the dogs. Well, I don't know. East side's got fence, south isn't fenced in, neither is west. So you guys tell me. Right?
So how the dog fenced in.
And
Right, your dog's like.
And like, if anything, we should have been the ones fenced up, he's the one that was on the property. Anyway. So I don't know what you guys can do, maybe it's something that we should support or somebody should look at and put it in. It's code, because with more people coming into the area and putting up fences, I know they can put it right on the line. But on the same note, they should keep it off the line for maintenance purposes. Because it's right on the line, he can't go on the other side and keep up the maintenance on it. And also too, I don't know about the lighting. He's got his, outside light on. Also, the winter, he shut it off. He's up there, about a month ago, leaves, and it comes on. And it stays on all night.
Luckily, I don't have any rooms on that side of the house, but I got the kitchen upstairs. It shines right in on my property. Like that, I'm gonna say it has some that, messes with the nightlife too, for the rest of the animals in the area. So, I've talked to them, but without getting the lawyer involved, this was the way I don't want to deal with them. I mean, you know, it's sad, because we used to be friends, we used to do, you know, we used to have parties all night yards. You know, it's like, okay. So he's drawing this line, and I just think it's really rude and crude of him to, just because he's temporary. I'm still here, resident. I live there. That's my home.
Is there something in the assessor?
Huh?
Maybe?
What?
Assessor can take care of something like that? I don't know.
So you're more than blue lines there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the line, the fences on the line, is something that the assessor, our assessor can take care of?
No, I don't know if they can or not. You've had this property,
Question.
surveyed, I've had ours. And it's right on the line.
You brought this up before, though, this is not your first time.
No, right. And I just kind of let it stop.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Now it's done.
you know, but then he fell, you know, last year, whatever. But yeah, I think what should be done about something, I know it's part of the acting fact. Put in writing from here on out about that. And I was doing a little bit of research about the, lighting on houses in the area like part. Okay, yeah, so we are in the blue line there. And I don't think those lights should be that bright. And by all means, it should be censored. Only come on if something is there. Just like anybody else's house down there. So I don't know what he's trying to prove, other than being that great person. I mean, it's overreach, but something to think about. I'm enjoying it now, but just FYI, I'm just gonna get a lawyer involved and let them do the legal aspect and whatever comes about. So unless you can do something with them or whatever, I don't know what policies on that.
Yeah, it's not like an ordinance, that kind of work is already there, you know what I mean?
Your grandfather did, no?
Oh, yeah, I know. I understand that, but just for future reference, because if there's no code and if nobody knows that.
So then I think North would look up that code when you are looking.
Or we have to, come up with a
Yeah,
code.
when you look into something like that.
I mean, and he's from the city, we think that whatever the city has, you know, just employ that, you know, within reason. For that time. I had a landscaper there at my place, put that, and you know, that's illegal to have that. I guess that's not safe for me.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the opposite.
Right.
I do know that much.
Like I said, just FYI, and maybe something put in there to, just for, future reference. That's my man.
Thank you, Liz.
Yep. Anybody else? Okay, closing public speaking at 7:33. Old business. Does anybody have any other business they want to discuss? New business, it was already touched on briefly by Sonia, but a possible alternate project for the gazebo. And it's, I'm just spitballing, so I hope nobody takes offense to it, but the gazebo wasn't really utilized as much as it should have been in my mind. I thought perhaps we could see about putting a pavilion out there instead, where we could put picnic tables or kids' birthday parties or, I think it would be more functional as a pavilion than a gazebo. The gazebo was beautiful, but it really wasn't as functional as it could have been.
So we can put the pavilion in the same spot.
Well, that's what at first we can look into seeing what the price would be at least, if it's something the board is willing to consider. We still have to look at the procurement policy, so.
The only reason I asked is because I think, with the historical society, whatever, we wanted to do, we want to do like a, what do we call that building?
Like your egg on
And we didn't know, we thought maybe on that side,
Yeah.
remember? So that's something to keep in
line too.
It was, what was discussed was just adding on to where, Larry, the town clerk, always parks, where it's already paid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I
So
didn't know how
it
big
was-
the pavilion was going to be.
Oh, I
How far
wouldn't-
it was gonna come over, that's.
I wouldn't say
I just
it's
asked-
huge, no, but I mean, if you could fit 6 picnic tables into it, and just have the big roof up on top, I mean, that's even a good size, I mean, that's not even that big if you think about it. Just something for the board to think about, because it's not like we have to jump on a new project immediately, but, you know, I mean, if all things considered, do we wanna put the gazebo back where, you know, maybe people wander in and out of it a couple times a year, because I mean, the man hasn't been there in a while, or, put something up that when people have birthday parties for their kids, that they could just rent the hall and use the kitchen, and have 6 picnic tables and a beautiful pavilion outside where the kids can play. I mean, just thoughts. So, something to consider, it's not like we've received the money yet, the check's been issued, haven't gotten it, but maybe next month, you know, we could all bring ideas to the table, or discuss it behind the scenes. Because once we get that money, then we have to decide about, you know, getting quotes with the procurement policy to either replace the gazebo or to do an alternate project. And we have about $10,000, and, I think we should make the most of what we're getting. So that was,
Yeah, we should measure up for,
yeah, first we have to make sure that we're not gonna hurt like the septic, and, you know, nor we're gonna have to get involved and see what we're able to actually do, what size we can do, but, you know, and if we end up putting the gazebo back, we put the gazebo back, but I mean, we got $10,000 to work with, so I want the board
We
to
could
kind of.
put like a maybe another spot, like, maybe some over here.
Yeah, I mean, we could move it, there's so many things we could do,
Everybody can be close to the road.
you know? So, something for the board to think about.
Yep.
And also, under new business, I think it's time the board start considering a small reopening of the town hall for rentals. For instance, you know, Heidi Christensen from the Public Association, would like to rent a hall for their 2 meetings a year, for July 3rd and September 4th. And she said if they have to limit their attendance to comply with any guidelines, that we issue, they're happy to do so. But I figured when things are getting better and slowing down, perhaps we, you know, putting out slight restrictions, but maybe seeing if the seniors want to take the hall again, or, you know, start opening it up little by little and see how it works out. Is that something the board's willing to do?
Yep.
But, you know, my suggestion is to reopen and allow Pleasant Lake. They usually have a bigger crowd there. I asked her how many usually come, and she said like 70. So I think in that instance, maybe, require masks like they do when you're walking around and, you know, July 3rd and then maybe September 4th and see how things go. Yeah. And that's it. Our maximum occupancy is 120 people. So if you want to limit it to 50%, she said let's limit it to 50%. That's what I'm asking. So I want the board to know how you want to do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful, you know, I can probably make sure the doors are open, you know, keep the fresh air, as they say. But what does the board think? I like your input, which is fine.
I think so, go ahead and get started. And also for the seniors, if they want to get started.
It's such
They
a
don't
small
get, yeah,
group.
that's a small group anyway.
I think that, you know,
Yeah.
did you want to limit the Pleasant Lake Association to the 50% capacity? I mean, 120 passing if you're like Sardine, so.
So if they had 60, 70?
60 would be.
60.
And she told me at maximum 70, so they think
Okay.
almost everybody.
Is it more than that, or?
I do 75% capacity, that's how we keep the doors open. So then it's not cutting off, they have 72 this year, or 80, you know.
Oh, they get to wait for parking lot.
Right, that's, you know, there's one person stands outside, everybody else is,
Yeah.
just give it 75%, then they have that discussion. Just, 70%.
Is that agree?
Sorry.
Did you want to do 50? That's what I'm asking.
I would think 70.
I don't know, what is the protocol?
I think right now it's still at 50%.
So 50% would be 60 people.
Why don't we just keep that 50% for now? We're not out of clear.
Yeah.
For the month of June? Yeah, he is, but.
Yeah.
And then
Because their daughter's getting married, so we've been increasing it.
if different guidelines come out want between now and July third, we can,
I think we should stay at 15.
because that's how I feel, I think 50% is good, so, I'd like to make a motion to allow the Pleasant Lake Association to be able to rent the hall July third from 8 to 11 and September 4th, 8 to 11, under the condition that they operate at 50% capacity, which is 50 people. They wear masks while moving around the building and our current guidelines for within the building. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And since the senior citizens are a little bit different, I thought we'd do a separate motion with senior citizens. Would somebody like to make that motion to allow them to come back in on their normal Tuesday? And I think they only eat once. My only concern is the eating part. They do the one luncheon a month, I believe, on a Tuesday, where they go in the kitchen and sometimes they cook and, maybe we just have to have things prepared if they want to bring things in. I think that's a better way to go about it than to have them over pots cooking and potentially. Excuse me? Picnic lunch, I like that. So, as long as they know that, but otherwise, I mean, what is it, coming here and then they park and I think that's, let's give them their time back. It's the least we can do. So I'd like to make that motion as well, to allow the Stratford senior citizens to start again. I'm so sorry, to begin allowing them to use the hall on their regular Tuesdays and the Tuesday that they do their lunch, that they do a picnic lunch. Are you trying to get free? Yeah. I'd like to make that motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Now, the seniors now, that's my.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Anything else? Is there anything else board members would like to discuss?
Just a question. So, last year, I know, last year we did that senior letter. Do we want to do that again? I can do it if you want, or not. I'll change the verbiage a little bit, because it still have a weird year, but it's up to you guys if you want it. Okay, next meeting,
Not a Stratford meeting. Such a small district. I'm okay. I'll participate, but it's up to each of you.
I'll bring a letter next month then, and then.
Yeah.
Sign or whatever. And do we want to do last year? Got to build on it, do we want to do anything special for them? Or just,
Like something forward.
yeah.
Bring some ideas. I'm done with
I know, that's why I'm asking you guys, if you wanted to do anything special for them, or fire department, run through or whatever, I don't know. So, that was.
So our graduation
I
party,
know,
that's not a.
Parade or.
They do their own activity thing, those kinds of their own activity things.
I have no clue.
I thought they always did, I think.
My son graduated in the
Or
first
never
year.
did activities,
Okay.
and that was something new, but I mean, I think they planned their own, if they had somebody come in and talk to them about, different things. I think they planned it.
So just like, I'll bring a letter, and then if you guys have any ideas, if you want to do anything further this year.
Really good.
Okay.
Well, I know a lot of times they, even if it's small as $25, where they give out the grand scholarship, the board would always choose to do a $25, dollar scholarship to the Stratford senior that they think is something, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it's small, but it works, and
Some kids do go far, some kids don't.
well, that's what I'm just explaining that those kind of grants and scholarships. I'm sorry if I
I
worded it.
know, but I'm just saying, there's some kids that get the money and they
Well, that's what the
go
board,
far with it, there's other kids that get all this money and they drop right out.
Well, we want to encourage them to keep going, so that's.
Oh, yeah,
whatever we
I
can do.
encourage all the kids at school, especially, I thought, that's what we can do.
well, that's all I have. So if there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:45. That's All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Good night.